What is up, guys? Welcome back to Overspray. In today's video, I got to update you guys on quite a few things. I also went on a recent shopping spree and I got a whole bunch of stuff for the channel. And we're also going to start prepping the mirrors for the Honda Civic project car, which is over here. And obviously, I got to fill you in on a couple things. First and foremost, as you guys could see, I updated my lighting. I think I bought in total, about 9 lights. So I actually have one under the little cabinet here. And then I got 8 lights over here to basically improve my lighting in the garage because, well, as you guys know, my garage is pretty dark. Also, we're going to be talking about my recent shopping spree. Now, not everything was from Harbor Freight. I actually ordered these from a company called Auto Body Tool Mart, which they sell all sorts of different auto body stuff. And also I went ahead and picked up a Harbor Freight polisher from Harbor Freight. I bought another one, but that one was complete junk, so I bought this one instead, which is a little bit higher end. I also bought the polishing pads over here so I can start polishing the car as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and open these boxes up. So let's go ahead and start opening these boxes first. And then we'll commence with the prepping of the mirrors. So let me show you guys what I ended up buying, and yeah, I bought a lot of stuff. This is a lot of money. So anyway, guys, let me show you guys what I got. All right, and what did I buy? Well, let's go ahead and start with this one. This one is the Meguiar's Mirror Glaze Ultra Cut Compound. Obviously, you guys know that I'm cutting and buffing the Honda Civic project car, so this stuff is going to come in handy. This is the 105, so it is very aggressive, as you can see on the side chart there. Also went ahead and bought this Naked Gun spray gun paint remover. Basically, it's like a spray gun cleaner. It removes all the dried up paint in your spray gun. So this is what this is for. And then I went ahead and ordered a 3-pack 3M high power spray gun cleaner. This, by the way, doesn't really remove paint that's like super dry in the paint gun. That's what this stuff is for. But if you're gonna clean up your gun really quickly, this stuff works great. I like this stuff. The only problem is you go through this can super quick. So I went ahead and ordered 3. And then last but not least, I also ordered, well, I guess not really last. Also from 3M, I ordered this gallon of dust control spray. Now what this is actually used for is to control dust in a spray booth, and I'm going to be using it for my garage to hopefully control dust. And yeah, it comes in a gallon jug. I think they have a 5-gallon jug as well, but I went ahead and just gave this thing a try. I saw it on Amazon and a couple other things I found on Amazon as well. But I went ahead and ordered this because yeah, I wanted to see how well it actually worked. I know it's meant for spray booths, meant to keep all the dust down. So we will see how this works. And then last but not least, I ordered more stuff for polishing, cutting and buffing and polishing. So you can see the polishing pads over there. And then I also ordered a new polisher for the channel as well. I used my stimulus money to buy all this stuff, And yeah, so the reason why I bought this one, obviously this is a much higher end, because I bought this one, and this thing is a piece of crap. Don't buy this one. This is the Drill Master. I think I paid like 40 bucks for this thing. This thing is like almost brand new. It's junk. Don't buy this one. If you're at Harbor Freight and you're looking for a good polisher, do not buy this one. The reason why is because the electronics really suck on this thing, and it ramps up and then goes back down, ramps up and goes back down. You cannot keep a consistent speed with this polisher, and I almost burnt the paint on the Honda Civic project car. So yeah, this one is no good. This should not be sold. Anyway, so I went ahead and upgraded to the Bauer. Boy, darn. This one, I'm not sure what the model is. We'll check out here. This is the Bauer 12 amp 7-inch variable speed polisher. I'm guessing this is the part number 1913EB. This is a rotary. I believe they had a DA one as well. But I got the rotary one just because I need it to actually cut down in the paint. Whereas some of the DAs, they don't have enough, I guess you could say, cut, or rotation, or whatever you want to call it, in order to cut into the paint. If you get the DA, it takes forever. So I went ahead and grabbed the rotary. So we're going to give this one a shot on the Honda Civic. We're not going to be polishing today, obviously, but just wanted to show you what I got. And yeah, so let's get started on the mirrors. Alrighty guys, so I think it's time to start prepping this mirror for paint, or I should probably say for primer, because it does need primer. Now, if we look real close, you could see the damage of these mirrors. They're all scuffed up. I don't know, somebody hit like a garage door at one point. I don't know what this little sticker thing is, but yeah, I got a bunch of stuff I got to do to this thing because it's got a whole mess of defects, chips, and scratches and whatnot. This one was pretty much prepped up, ready to go. I prepped this one up probably about a month ago. Probably should still prep it up a little bit more. I could kind of see some areas where they kind of need a little bit more prep work, and I went ahead and made this like makeshift like shelf thing for my stand out of cardboard. I just picked this thing out of the trash, and yeah, I just needed kind of like something where I can set the mirrors on top of while I'm prepping them. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and grab my sander. Let me go ahead and show you guys. I think I showed you guys on the last video, but I went ahead and picked up a snap-on sander as well. This is a 5mm throw, or 3/16, whatever you want to call it. It's basically like the standard throw, mainly used for something like finishing. But yeah, so anyway, let me get some sanding paper on this thing, and we'll start prepping these things up. Alrighty guys, so the mirrors are pretty much already prepped up. I got to throw some glaze on a couple parts. This sander worked really well, but it is a little bit loud and it is getting a little late tonight. So I don't want to wake up my neighbors, but man, it did really quick work of these mirrors. Now I went ahead and sanded the areas that I could with the sander, and then everything else I went ahead and used a maroon Scotch-Brite pad for the areas that I couldn't get, because obviously these mirrors have a lot of curvature to them and it's not like a super flat like piece. So I went ahead and obviously grabbed my red Scotch-Brite pad and got to the areas where I couldn't. Now I am gonna have to throw some glaze on a couple of these spots right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. They're very minor little chips here and there, but we got to take care of those before we go ahead and shoot primer, because you're still gonna see that under the, or I should say over the primer or under the primer, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so I don't want that to show. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill these up, because they are, even though they're minor, they are big enough to show through the primer. And yeah, don't want any problems here. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill those up, and yeah, then we're gonna go ahead and continue on. So we got the mirrors already sanded down. Went ahead and used the sander to make quick work. Got all the spots already done. As you guys can see, it's looking very nice. Taped up the mirrors, but I did that earlier. And you can see I'm looking like a hobo right now, because literally there's like dust everywhere. I went ahead and used my fan just to kind of extract that dust. Should be wearing a mask, but of course, yeah, don't do what I do, just do what I say, wear a mask. So anyway, these are all nice and prepped up, ready for primer. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the door handles now, and yeah, let's start on that. Alrighty, so I went ahead and grabbed the door handles. These are, I think I mentioned it in a different video or another video that I did, that these have kind of a special prep, right? Because they are raw plastic, there is actually what's called mold release agent on it. And basically what that is, well, or how they use that is, these parts are most of the time plastic injected, and usually you can tell. This one kinda, oh yeah, see those little circles on it? Not sure if you could catch those little circles. That means that this plastic is plastic injected. Also, there is some way to identify the plastics. Not sure if you guys catch that, but it says PC on it. What that is an identification for what type of plastic that it is. In this particular case, PC is polycarbonate. So this piece is a polycarbonate plastic. If it had a PP on it, that means it's a polypropylene, and that is a different type of plastic. Usually things are usually PP, polypropylene. You can find that on aftermarket parts, aftermarket bumpers, aftermarket handles, but they make them in all different types of plastic. But going back to the mold release agent, when they go and manufacture these handles, they put a mold release agent so that after this is done being molded, it pops right out. It's kind of similar to like putting butter on a pan in order for it to, you know, not stick, I guess you could say. Or maybe like putting a non-stick surface so that way your food doesn't stick to the pan, right? Kind of the same thing. But with that comes some consequence. If you don't prep these correctly, you can get a reaction in your paint job. So you need to be able to remove all that mold release agent out of the plastic. Now there are quite a few ways to remove that plastic, but really essentially just grab some wax and grease remover and go ahead and wax and grease remove all the stuff that's on the plastic. Now you want to get this as clean as possible, so you want to really make sure that you remove all the molding release agent off of that part, right? And the way I do it, this is the way I do it, but I go and wax and grease remove the whole plastic, obviously the whole plastic handle that I'm going to be painting. Then I go ahead and put it on a bake with my heater, which I can't find right now, but I will find it, and I go ahead and heat these things up, because what happens is when you heat it up, that plastic tends to release that little bit of agent because it's kind of absorbed it a little bit. And so when you heat it, all that agent starts to rise to the top. Then you go ahead and wax and grease remove again. So wax and grease remove first, heat it, then clean it again, then you start scuffing. At least that's how I do it. Off, on, off, on, off, on. Anyway, so yeah, so I went ahead and did the whole wax and grease remover thing again, And yeah, well, this is basically what they look like now. Now, I'm starting to find some defects here. I'm not sure if you guys can catch this. Let me see if I can take it by the light. Maybe you guys are able to catch a little bit of the defects. Let's get closer here. See if it'll catch it. I don't know if you guys see that, but right here where my pinky is, there's like a slight crack. And it almost looks like it's part of the molding, like the molding was cracked. So yeah, so it's got some defects, but this is what happens when you buy $12 door handles. Yeah, you get imperfections. But regardless, this is better than the stuff I had before, so just gonna go ahead and roll with it. Gonna start scuffing these up and get them ready for primer or sealer or whatever it is that I'm gonna end up doing. I don't know yet. Bye. Alrighty guys, so I came to a quick realization, and let me explain what I'm talking about here. So I was already beginning to prep the door handles and get them ready for sealer, and what I noticed on the older door handle, this is the original one, that they were able to paint all up in there and get red basically in all the areas that they needed to get paint on, because this car was painted once before, so you could see basically they got red everywhere that, well, needed to be red, right? And I realized that the only way I can paint these tough areas, you know, like these areas inside, are gonna be by taking apart the door handle, because these areas are very hard to get to with the Scotch-Brite pad unless I took it apart. So that's what I went ahead and did, is just took apart the door handle. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one apart as well so that it's easier to prep, and when I go to paint this, I can get to the areas that need to be painted just like the original one. Alrighty, so after, I don't know, an hour and a half, my arms are starting to tingle, but I got the handles nice and prepped. I did use a maroon. Usually I would probably use a gray Scotch-Brite pad on this one and then go ahead and use a adhesion promoter. But yeah, the maroon ones are pretty much all I have at the moment. It's equivalent to about a 400 grit. 380, 400, somewhere around there. Yeah, so it works great. So anyway, I went ahead and prepped the plastic handles. I didn't want to over sand too much. You don't want to really dig into that plastic. Yeah, you can end up with some problems. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and I'm gonna go ahead and continue tomorrow because, like I said, my hands are really hurting. Feels like I've been sanding all day when I really haven't. So but yeah, anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue tomorrow, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alrighty guys, so today is the next day, and I am ready to start hanging up some parts and start getting them ready for primer. I went ahead and picked up some Duplicolor filler primer. So that's what I got from O'Reilly's, and then I also got some primer sealer as well. I'm going to go ahead and seal the door handles, and then I'm also going to be fillering the primer filler, or put primer on the mirrors. Sorry, I'm lost for words today. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray primer on these from a rattle can, and then primer sealer on this. So I'm gonna start hanging up everything and putting everything on hooks. I also gotta finish taping off the mirrors as well. So I got a nice little roll of tape from 3M. And well, let's go ahead and get started with this little project. boys, so I went ahead and taped up everything I needed to tape up on the mirrors. Went ahead and wax and grease removed everything, both sides. So obviously we got the door handles nice and wax and grease removed, cleaned it all off. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a tack rag, get that ready so that I can tack rag everything. And then we're gonna go ahead and shoot some plastic adhesion promoter on the plastic parts, get that nice and ready to go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and shoot some primer on the red mirrors, get that nice and covered. And then yeah, and anyways, so we're gonna start getting ready for painting. So let's get to it. And we're back. All right, so I went ahead and shot the primer, as you guys saw. the primer on the mirrors and the sealer on the door handles. Everything came out real nice. Yeah, the sealer, I like how the sealer lays down, but I could have swore their primer was a little bit better. Their nozzle has changed. I don't know if it's just the nozzle change or what, but the bottle wasn't spraying that great. Got a little texture to it, but that's all right because it is primer. I still got to sand this down, but I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna wait about 24 hours before I go and sand these primers. It is coming out of a can, so it does dry a little bit faster, but it doesn't cure very fast. So I'm gonna give this time to really cure, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sand it. But for today, this is gonna be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me spraying, and we'll catch you guys on the next one when we go and actually paint these guys. Anyway guys, stay spraying. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye.